Welcome back to Age of Empires. Playing for humanity's last hope against the evil Imperialist AI. In the pink, we have Dark Mocha Stout, playing as the Spanish. The Spanish are a good civilization. They were really popular when the game first came out. They're a gunpowder and monk civilization. They get conquistadors, which is sort of like a mounted hand cannoneer. So they are a unit that has a horse and a gun, and they can run around and shoot things really quickly, but they're super expensive and cost a lot of gold. So in order to mass them up, you need a lot on gold, you need to get to the castle age, you need to produce them out of the castles. It's going to be super important for her to make sure that she's protected on the front long enough in order to get to conquistadors. Helping her up behind her in Cyan is Jag, playing as the Italians. The Italians get G&E's crossbowman, which is sort of like an anti-archer archer. It's an archer with really, really high pierce armor, and that's going to be particularly difficult for the Magyars to deal with. The Magyars tend to go Magyar Hussar, which is their unique unit version of the Scout. That's normally good against archers, but that's not good against the G&E's crossbowmen with their extra armor. So I believe the only thing that they've got for it are siege weapons, so either mangonels or ballista. They also get a fair number of naval bonuses, so their dock technologies cost 50% less, their fishing ships are a little bit cheaper, their trade units cost a little bit less, so here on a water map, they're a pretty good pick. In yellow is the Vikings. The Vikings are the best water civ in the game. They get longboats. Nothing destroys Viking longboats, so they're basically a war galley, but with longer range and faster firing rates. And that means that they win 1v1 against any other ship in the game, I believe. Here in green is ARE.java, playing as the Chinese. Chinese are a civilization that requires a different start than all of the civilizations. So you notice here at the top, the Chinese player has 6 villagers, where all the other ones have 3. And in their start, the Chinese need to send all of their villagers to food in order to start their food production enough that they can continuously produce villagers. Because they start with 0 food, and they start with 50 less wood than normal, they need to start gathering the food they need to produce villagers, but immediately from the TC, since they can't queue villagers as soon as the game starts, click loom instead. And that gives them their upgrade for the villagers and makes it so the time that they spend in the TC researching loom isn't just time wasted. Once they've got enough food to produce a villager, after they finish loom, they start producing villagers and send their first villagers over to build the houses and lumber mill. Playing in red as the Cumans is CK Schroeder. Cumans are a civilization that's become really popular recently because they get an additional town center in the feudal age. Their 2 TC boom makes them produce villagers faster than any other civilization. So if they want to do, just a boom in order to get to castle or get to imp, they can do that relatively quickly as far as establishing a long-term economy because they can build more TCs faster than anyone else can. However, also in the feudal age, they get access to a siege workshop before anyone else, and access to a battering ram before anyone else. So that means they have siege weapons at a time when nobody else does. So Cumans make for a really good feudal rush civilization if you want to rely on their siege to break down walls, which maybe won't be as important since the AI doesn't wall. Before I jump, the Cumans also get access to the Kipchak as their unique unit, which is sort of a weaker ranged unit, but they're good in mass, and they get a research tech that allows all of their teammates to create 10 of those Kipchak for free from their castle. And at some point, Red researches it, And I remember because it came in clutch for me at a point when I couldn't build any of the units that I was going for. I had access to those 10 free kip chap and could roll them in to save me. Last for the Humanity's Last Hope team. Playing as the Vietnamese is myself. I'm Vietnamese so that I can see the enemy's starting positions, but Vietnamese also give their entire team access to the Imperial Skirmisher upgrade, which is kind of an advanced version of the Skirmisher that can be built to the Imperial Age from the normal archery ranges, which is really nice to have if you're fighting against an archer civilization. We are not, because we randomized into Cumans and Magyars. So against the Cumans, my goal is going to be to keep Orange from getting to Feudal Age as long as possible and delay the Castle Age as long as possible. So if I can just delay Orange as much as I can, then hopefully the rest of the team can wall up against Gray, or at least hold their own against Gray long enough for the Green and Red on my team to go up to Castle and produce some units that can actually knock out Orange, or save me when Orange and Gray team up for my side, if that's what's going to happen. Okay, also introducing the real MVP, Sarah, the Scout Cavalry,
Điện hạ có gì sai bảo?
and Catherine, the Villager. Let's play. The game starts. Everyone has a really good start, I believe. Compared to what we saw last week, almost everybody's going on food. We're building 2 houses and gathering the hunt in the middle first, which is awesome. And I signaled down here that Orange's TC is here and that I need scouts. So Sarah, the scout, comes forward from green, and I believe Red sent a scout later too, although I don't see it. Where's Red Scout? Red's scouting his base, but he comes forward a little bit later, I think, because I'm sending Catherine forward on her own, with my own scout forward, trying to figure out where the resources are that I can hit. So my scout gets lucky, steals a cow. That's nice, that's extra food for me later, and a little bit less food for the enemy. And I also just brushed past that berry, so that gives me enough information that I need in order to start walling out the food while they're still collecting their food underneath the town center in their standard build order. Now, as long as the enemy AI doesn't cheat, so as long as the enemy doesn't have a unit that's within visual sight of me, then it won't respond to the walls. If it does have a unit in visual sight of me, if it's the scout, it will attack the villager, but it will swap over to the military if the military engages. So here the scout attacks the villager, sees that I'm building wall. The scout moves out because it saw that there was another scout there when it got close enough, and the villagers move away when the scout comes to intervene. So if I can continue to dance, where if the enemy scout comes to hit the villager, then I hit the scout with the villager in order for it to go back and send villagers to stop me from building. When the villagers come, I hit them with the scout, and we just keep dancing like that. Okay, green's here with Sarah. Okay, now I take the scout fight. Because we got the hit earlier, I believe I win that fight. And if I win that fight, I think we'll be able to finish off the berries. I also got Sarah here in the back protecting Catherine. Everything that I need. Okay, freezing here at the 4-minute mark. Populations, we've got 10 at most for the players. Really impressed with the Chinese opening in particular, just because it's so different. It's very difficult to get a good opening as the Chinese, just because you can't create those villagers right off the bat, especially when you're trying to micromanage units forward. It's so hard to multitask. I think I go idle with all of my bottom eco once I finish off the cow here at one point, for a good 10 seconds or so, because I end up focusing so much on the forward. Everyone's producing villagers really well. You can see the extreme AI will have the highest villager count possible for the gray team, so we can use that as a barometer. 11's the best possible. We're all at 10 or 9. Okay, still building with forward. Sarah's still protecting me. Okay, they're finishing off collecting their first boar. When they come back to the second, I'll come back. We've got very good, 7 on food and a bunch on wood. Looks like a pretty perfect opening. Okay, cyan, a little bit far out with the board, but good numbers. Very nice opening. Very nice opening for yellow as well. Ideal for green, a little bit of idle time there, but that's only because we've got everything happening with the forward. So Sarah's micromanaging, trying to figure out what's going on with this extra boar. Okay, I've got my own scout here, so I spot the boar here, I think. And I'm going to notice it for later. Once they start sending a villager forward, I see the boar on the map. So after we finish walling in the stone, we'll swap over and start walling in gold, and if they come for the boar, and the boar will hit the villager if we can block them, and that will take out a villager for them, which will put them a little bit behind. Okay, first to dock, we've got pink. Docking is a really good idea on this map. I did not because I was so focused on going all in for the forward, but I believe everyone else does at some point. And it's better to dock long term for the food eco. Okay, so my scout goes down, which means it's all up to Sarah. Okay, they're still collecting food under the TC. This one's going to come forward for the boar about the same time that we move to close off the gold. So Sarah spots that. Okay, enemy villager moving up to the boar, and we've got Sarah and Catherine up here ready to block. So they start hitting the villager. Once I bug out and it's only military hitting the villager, then they don't want to take that fight. So, but we can double, actually triple, with the boar damage and take out that villager. Take out another villager as the other one's coming forward. And I call on comms for us to break because we're going to lose this fight if they move in all of their villagers. So Sarah breaks off. And Dark Mocha breaks off. And they start coming back, and I'm like, okay, I think it's worth it. And I actually called on comms asking her to come back right as they attack the boar. And because they attacked the boar, that moves all of their attention back to the boar when they revert to food, which breaks line of sight. And as long as they've broken line of sight, we can finish off the gold. So we get super lucky there. Somehow Sarah and Catherine are still alive, and we're walling up the third resource. Beautiful. Okay, over on Pink's side, bad timings. I just got her as she finished that resource there. But we've got a bunch on wood, which is good since we can spend wood in order to get food for the ducks. She's gonna have a pretty fast uptime, I think. Over on the Spanish side, still collecting a bunch of food. Looks good. I really like the walls here. As kind of a secondary wall in case the first wall is breached. Building walls with the houses is amazing. Okay, in yellow, building the first barracks, just allowing us to get up. Still collecting the food from the boar. Looks very good. Green, ideal build order for Chinese. I'm still blown away by how good the Chinese start was there, with all the forwards going on. And okay, bread looking really good. Got a couple on gold, a bunch on food. I think this is just a fast castle build. Not really enough on wood to go to ducks yet. I'm full on food because I'm going to go scouts with just 4 on wood in order to build the buildings for it. Let's keep going. Okay, so boar's coming in. We actually already weakened that villager, so another villager goes down for orange. This is not going well for orange at all. Orange has 5 losses already, so that's 4 villagers down and 1 scout. Meantime, green's over here with Sarah the scout and Catherine our villager, MVPs of the game. blocking in all the resources, and that's going to set them back. I don't think they break these walls for the first hour of play, because they're too focused on all of the scouts and all of the Chukunu that come in later, all of the Kipchak from red. I don't think they have a chance to break down these walls until about an hour, 6 minutes in. Alright, so my goal from this point on is constant pressure, delay how long it takes them to take down these walls, as much as I can possibly do. Okay, so the AI is eventually going to figure out that none of its villagers are collecting food. Once it does, it sends all of those villagers that are on food over to wood, and then builds a bunch more fishing ships to make up for it. So it's not going to hurt it too much in the short run. Unless we do some extra damage here. Okay, so Sarah jumps in with the scout, and unfortunately, that means in line of sight of these walls, Catherine can't get up those walls. So I just run away, and seeing that I'm not building anymore, they leave me alone. Having the base of the walls here allows me to still see if there's any units next to the stone, so I can see if they ever capture the stone, but that's not actually blocking the units because I never built it. It did cost me the wood though, in order to build the power sides. And Catherine comes back and acts as a villager for the rest of the game. Okay, so 16 minutes in. Pausing again. Up top, you can see the military counts and the population counts so far on a team-by-team basis. So there's 113 villagers. Can't be right. 20... No, that is right. We've got 6 players. There's 113 villagers for our team, and 63 villagers for the enemy. However, individually, the enemy is doing much better on villager production. So there's 32 pop and going up to feudal already, and then 31 pop not going up to feudal because of all the villager losses for orange. Going up to feudal takes about 2 minutes. That's 4 villagers worth that you're not producing in the time that you go up to feudal. I am not up to feudal yet, and I won't be for a while. I am banking a bunch of food and wood that I need in order to get a really fast scout time. While also trying to forward. Okay, so I'm at 24 pop. Jags at 15, Dark Mocha at 15, 9 Bag at 16, CK Schroeder at 21, and ARE.java at 22. Enemy AI players at 31 and 32 respectively. The people who already went to feudal, so that's red, cyan, and yellow. I can't see on the overlay, so I'm not sure about pink. Not sure about pink. The people who already went to feudal will be a little bit behind in the villager production because they spent that time going to feudal. Okay. Has anyone else docked yet? Cyan's docked. So that should be a little bit more fish boom and possibly some help for pink if her fish get hit. Gray's invested a lot into fishing ships and has 3 docks going up, so this is probably going to be fires, fast fires to take out the ships and possibly take out the docks that pink has. Orange also forced to go into docks heavy because the only eco he has is wood. In fact, all of his eco that would have gone to gold or berries has just been tasked off of it because they couldn't get to the golden berries. So now, looking over here, Orange has 22 on wood at 14 minutes in, which is insane. But going heavy on wood and then converting that wood to food by building a bunch of fishing ships, which means whenever someone hits Orange on water, that's going to That's going to destroy Orange's economy if I can continue to hit land and prevent them from breaking this up. Okay, so Orange is on the way to feudal. And I'm in feudal now, just before Orange, with a higher villager count. Sorry, not with higher villager count, but I'm in feudal just before Orange. We've taken out several villagers from Orange to try and slow them down, building a stable. And again, my goal is just to delay long enough for someone else to come in and hopefully save me or deal the death blow. Okay, Orange getting a bunch of Evo upgrades. We've got Gray starting to build their military on water to defend the fishing ships and take out anything they can. No military for our team. So, humanity has no navy. Green coming up on water though with some fishing ships. That's going to help the fish boom. Lots more food. Okay, population-wise, ideal is now 42 while in feudal. I'm at 30 and leading the pack, but Jag's catching up to me, and I believe he passes me eventually. Sure, he passes me eventually. Some feudal rushing. Jag's better at villager production in the mid-game, so I like to think that I've got a strong early game and a weaker mid-game and an even weaker late game. Zuri's just a good gamer no matter what he plays, so Jag's early game might not be as strong, but it's almost there. It's gotten better every time that I've looked, and his mid-game is better than mine, his late game is better than mine, so... Okay, here come the fire galleys. Okay, more than enough to take out the ships. It's going to take a while to take out the docks though, enough that she should get that tower up unless they switch over. Oh, but she walks into the line of sight. That means fire guys can see her, and we'll try to focus the tower now. Okay, she does notice, reacts, takes it away. Okay, galleys are taking on the tower, and we've got scouts coming forward, trying to do damage on both sides of the base. So 2 north, 1 south, making it 3 to the north because it's got more villagers, and this one's just idle. So far, Orange has lost 10. Oops, sorry. Wrong screen. Orange has lost 11. One of those is scouts, that's 10 villagers down for Orange. 6 villager difference from Gray. Orange's response to this should be Spearmen. The barracks is going up now. But if he responds with Spearmen, I'm already starting to transition over to more woods so that I can produce archers. And that should deal well with the Spearmen. So I'll transition to archers, then swap back to the knights once they start producing the skirmishers for the archers. And as long as he's in feudal, that's really all he can do. So I can swap back and forth between that and hopefully delay as long as I can. Keep getting villager kills. You see villager count for him gone down to 37. So now he's kind of near where we are on the human team. 10 villager difference between Orange and Gray. Fire galleys though still in here for the dock. What's that? Trade cog. I like the idea of trade cogs, but maybe it would be better to go to someone that's not getting attacked. The longer distance you have for trade, the more that you make overall, actually. So it might be better to send the trade cogs to red instead of pink. Also happens to be safer. Lots of damage here. Still looping around trying to get the villagers stay out of the TC fire as long as I can. Taking the wood lines as I scout more of them with the light cav. Oh, snipe another, run out from the sphere. More more scouts producing there. Archery range going up, and I think I pass it and don't notice until afterwards at some point. Yeah, right here. Oops. Just passing. Okay, so we've cleared up one wood line. We've cleared up another wood line, although I'll need to hit it again. So I've got more scouts coming in to hit it again while the spears are away. Chasing the other scouts that I looped around back to the north. Picking off any villagers that I see if I'm in distance that the spearmen looping around won't hit me. And I'm just keep spinning with the scouts, taking out as many villagers as possible. So far 19 losses for orange, 18 of which are villagers. That's kept the production down. Okay, over on the other front. Pink losing a tower and a dock looks like to the fire galleys. Cyan noticing that they need a wall. That's really clutch actually, because Gray's in castle and is building a castle. As soon as that castle goes up, they're going to start producing Magyar Hussar, those faster scouts with extra armor. The TCs can't take them if they're massed. So they need this wall up as soon as possible, and that's going to be difficult to do with the fire galleys here actually. If those fire galleys are spotting that wall, they can take out any villagers that try to complete it. One thing they might do is change the wall on this side to a gate. That way they can build from a little bit further distance away. Castle placement. I believe that can still be ranged from the water, however, only 2 ships could range that. And so that might actually be ideal placement, I think. If it was one tile back, the ships couldn't range it at all, but where it is right now, the ships will still try to come in and attack because it's possible to attack, but because it's only possible with 2, the castle can take that and go down, while still returning fire, and I believe it can take out the fire galleys in 2 or 3 hits. So it should trade really well at that point. Okay, still looping scouts around, trying to find any damage that I can do, however, we are starting to transition to archers now. To take out the spearmen that have been created for the scouts. Okay, so keeping the last scouts around, so close enough that they know there's still a danger from scouts and hopefully produce as much spearmen as possible. I force them into 5 spearmen so far, which is more food that they can't use for castle and taking out 22 villagers. 11 villager difference from Gray, but Gray's more focused on military at the moment. Trying to secure water for the team. Green, docking a second time on water, starting to build some military up. Yellow, 1 dock on water, has more trade. 1 more galley for Cyan, just protecting their own dock. Okay, those fires are hitting the castle, but because only 2 ships at a time can hit that, that's not nearly enough damage to take out the castle. And that means these walls should complete as long as they can get up before the Hussar come. Where are the Hussar? Here they come. Ah, this is going to be close. Those fire galleys can stay in range just long enough to stop those walls from getting up. And those Hussars could get through that 2 tile gap. Oh my gosh. It's going to be so close. No, he's in. He's got this. His villagers need to pull back and garrison. But I don't think he noticed yet. He's got 2 more villagers on the other side. If he garrisons those, he might be able to save them, but I don't think it's hit yet. Nope, those villagers are down, so that means that wall's not going to complete until more villagers sent from Cyan. And the Magyar Hussar are free to hit the gold and the stone from the Spanish player, who is still on 17, 16 pop now. So, still having a little bit of trouble to continue production up. Well, they were hit really, really hard on the water, so there was a lot of micro that was needed to redock and try to get the towers up. Just defend. second push now would do damage if they actually rush those past the castle. But it looks like they're going to finish those walls. He doesn't have any that's next to it, so he doesn't see it. So, doesn't see it, doesn't exist. Alright, I've made the transition to archers, all the spearmen are dead, and that frees more scouts to come in for the villagers. We've got another line of archers down here that are just kind of sitting on the wood line. Some micro here. So, dodging the skirmisher fire, just long enough to take out more of the spearmen. I do have scouts coming, so if I can hold this just long enough. So, dodge, dodge, dodge. Oh. Took a hit. I'm not going to be able to do that forever. There's too much to focus on. How long did these stay? Okay, long enough for night to come. Not bad. Okay, second castle coming up there. That should secure this side for a while, I think, unless they transport across. But the Magyar player really needs to get to Imperial in order to break this. The siege options... I don't think any of the siege options can actually range that castle. Scorpions and the Mangonels don't have the range to do it. Signal from Jag over here, so I think she just deleted her own castle in order to try to move it. But I don't know if there's enough space to put it there. Okay, archers and knights still trying to keep orange off wood as much as possible. Orangeman's forced to move the wood line back, but it's still successfully on wood. Green has a warm water navy over the Baltic. Everyone else is fishing eco except for pink is okay, although pink's been able to rebuild a little bit, I thought, somewhere up here. Okay, so pink's got some navy too. Everyone's got some navy except himself. And we're coming forward with some siege workshops in order to try to make a push, make a play. But with the walls on the other side, that means all of these Magyar Hussar are free to start moving in on my side, so I'm about to get double teamed. Okay, have I delayed them long enough? Red's got an army, which is going to be more and more important because I'm going to need saving any minute now. Chukuni are starting to come in, those can save me too. I have actually walled through, I've chopped through my wall. I thought this walled, and it did not. And they get in twice from that gap, I believe, before I actually recognize that that's a gap. Okay, I've got rams, archers, scorpions, and knights. I'm ready to do damage against this TC. I have enough archers that I could maybe two-shot a Magyar, but there's enough Magyars there that if they move in right now, they clear out the archers. However, they're waiting for me to get into the TC fire so that they can clear up the rams. So they just cleared up the rams and double back. On the forward, what is this? A bunch of trash units, maybe just checking out to see what's at the walls, so that gave them scouting intelligence on the castles. That was a waste. Castle Age bugging out, I can't see the town center there, but I'm pretty sure there's a town center there. Okay, enemy town center is going down. The Magyar Hussar are still massing up in the corner, ready to make a push on the other side. Okay, Orange taking 68 losses so far. Is down to 32 villagers, which is 1/4 of Gray's. So we've done a really good job of delaying so far. But Gray's moving in to save Orange. All of these Magyar Hussar are coming right through that hole in the wall that I didn't see at the same time that Red's here to save me, which is perfect. I don't think either of us saw this right away. We were both focused on the forward. So Gray getting in quite a few hits here before there's a reaction. Okay, I noticed, so I pull a knight back, and I think I pulled a couple archers. I started to pull a couple archers back, saw that red had the units to win and stopped, and I ended up pulling them back again a couple seconds later, I think. So Magyar come around, I try to quick wall and fail. So that forces me to pull half of my food economy into the TC. But I leave the other half open until they move into the right side, so I can see red's coming, so this push isn't going to last. They can't stay here under the TC, but they do manage to myth gold. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The TC's full now. 8. Okay, 8 villagers down for me, but I think they got 2 before I started counting, so I am down to 56 pop. Okay, I'm pretty sure Jagged passed me before that. But if he didn't, he's passed me now. And I still think, because I didn't see the Magyar when they were up here, that the way that they got in was through here. So I'm not walling the right side, the correct side yet. The archers that I called back are coming in way too late to be of any help, really. Red sacrificed his army to save me successfully, so thank you, Red. But they're pulling back now to heal and rejoin before they can mass up again. Green has a bunch of Chukanu, and they're getting ready to come forward. And those will really help me out soon. Okay, not much happening on the other side yet. At least not that I can see. Okay, Navy's here. That's going to clear out all the fishing ships from Orange, which basically secures the win against Orange, I think. Orange is pretty much dead, and they're forced to try and reboom for the rest of the game. Orange is down to 14 population for their villagers. They've been destroyed on water, so they don't have any fishing ships left. They've been destroyed on land, so they only have all of these. Okay, that's catching Gray's villagers too, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 villagers, and a couple trade cards. Okay, Gray is starting to move in and take down the walls. Actually, all of Orange's military at one point. Everything that Orange had left was joining them and trying to take down the walls. Which isn't going to work immediately. That's more Magyar Hussar coming through the gap, but they find red again. It did do some damage to Red's woodline, and a little bit to my food eco again. I'm back down to 62 pop. Red's down to 37 pop. So big hits from Gray's raids. I'm still welding up what I think the hole is, which is not the hole. I noticed that they went through the top and built this extra university, so I think this is walled off again, and it's not again. This is the third time I have tried to wall off this area unsuccessfully. I really need to, what I should do is just click a villager from this side over to the other side and see if it paths. That would tell me if this is actually walled or not. But fourth time's the charm, right? Meantime, Green has all of these Chukanu that are coming forward, and that's going to hold the choke point. And save that whole east side from all of my failures to wall. I've got... they had come through it and managed to wipe out all of the skirmishers and archers that I had created. So orange is completely out of military. So all they have is villagers. And gray is producing a bunch of Magyar Hussar, trying to make raids in order to buy them time for orange to reboot. I've got 2 knights that are sitting in the top. That now I know is not walled. But the fight's going to go on for a while here. Oh, big fight over here too that I'm missing. Clearing out the CC. Dark Mocha in order to help out on that one as well. Okay, and they're pushing on that side. I've got a couple scout raids coming in, still trying to hit orange as much as possible and stop his reboom. Chukanu are here, saving my butt from all the Magyar Hussars and inability to wall stuff. There's no way I'm paying any attention to losing a house, so with everything going on with the scouts. Alright, a bunch of units disappearing again, so I'm probably going to swap over to the other one, but we'll pause here and take a look at how everybody's doing economically. So, in the pink, Dark Mocha at 23 villagers. I think just focused on the navy, maybe. And the trade, but ideally we'd pump out a couple more villagers, I think. Yellow at 43 pop, which is good. Lots of navy, which is nice. All of those Viking ships are probably what's not showing up in Capture Age, but he's got 15 of them that aren't showing. Minimap says they're somewhere over here, so helping out over here probably. Maybe on this side? Not sure, not showing up, but it's got 15 Viking ships that are helping out with the water. Green is everywhere, with a bunch of war galleys helping out on water, with the Chukanu saving the opposite side. Cyan, a couple cannon galleons, I think. Oh, no, regular galleons mixed in to help out with land. I believe also not showing up, but Dark Mocha had a couple of conquistadors that she sent forward and took out a couple tribes at one point. So green has saved me 3 times now. Red's building up another force. And he also researches the Kipchak tech, which is going to allow all of us to produce 10 elite Kipchaks for free. And that's going to be huge for me personally, because after all those raids and running out of wood over here, I only have 3 on wood total. So I'm going to notice that I only have 3 on wood total in about a minute once I run out of the wood that I've banked. The food that I've banked I actually need, so I'm moving that over to scouts. I've got 21 on food, so that should still replenish. But wood's going to be a huge problem for me, like any second now. The question is, will I notice before I run out of the wood that I need in order to build a lumber camp? Because if I don't, I'm going to need someone to bail me out. Alright, swapping back over to the game. Alright, back again. Taking a look at the villager counts at the 40-minute mark. We've got what looks like okay, pink is in Castle Age, so the fog of war here, so Dark Mocha encapsulated means you can start producing conquistadors. It also seems to be producing on water, I think. Let's take a look at that. It's cannon Galileans? Or galleys. Okay, so that should help on water with push. Orange has a fair amount of fishing eco right now. That is actually saving Orange right now since all of their farming eco was just destroyed on land. Gray has Magyar Hussar push that is about to come forward. And that's going to do a lot of damage, I think, because my base is open and I don't realize it. So I've been too focused on the push to get down the TC. Red's in a good position coming forward, though, with a bunch of units that could be used to save me. So I see 28 Arbalest, a bunch of elite Kipchaks, and Step Lancers. Oh, regular Kipchaks and Step Lancers. Green has a decent-sized army on this side. So good navy that looks like it's going to take out the fishing ships that Orange has. This should be the end for Orange. Should keep them in feudal for a while if this fish goes down. And also a bunch of Shukanu, which could really help us on the front. We could really use those about now. Yellow making longboats, getting ready for a push on water, possibly coupling with pink and green. Cyan still holding the front on the east side, and myself pushing on the west, but possibly not for long. Let's take a look. There's Magmar coming forward. Let's go there over here. Okay, so the Magyar come forward, managed to find a hole that was not the overchop that I saw. I thought that was closed off and it was not, so I'm gonna have to deal with that later, but I think it takes me quite a while to figure out that hole. It took me 2 or 3 tries before I was able to close that up. Red notices the attack. Thought I noticed the attack. That did a lot of damage. Okay, Red looping back and going to try to save me. I'm trying to house wall, but it's not fast enough. So I've created 2 choke points into my base. Red's looping back around to deal with the Hussar. I garrison half, but leave the other half on food because I need those food. I need that food to still come in for the push. I haven't idled my wood eco either, so that's looking okay. But the Magyar do hit gold, and that gold doesn't have anywhere to garrison, so that's going to do a lot more damage. That's going to bring me down to the 50s for villager population. So that was a big loss for me, but not as bad as it could have been because Red was there to save me. In the meantime, on the front, I've got a lot of archers that are accidentally patrolling into a lumber camp because I was too busy trying to fix what was going on back home. But I'm pulling those archers back so that I can buy myself some time to clog the hole before more Hussar come. And sending some knights forward, giving something else to deal with, so I can see they've got Hussar somewhere. So the archers are coming back, and that's going to give me time to try and clog the hole. So I was looking at this, still thought this was walled. So I'm going to clog the hole that I see here, which is not the right hole. And I think I've got that, so I'm sending the archers forward again with some siege to continue the push. Okay, Navy's in. I missed the initial fight, I apologize, but the Green's here. And that Navy does put them in position to see the Hussar coming forward. 24 Magyar Hussar, which is enough to destroy Red's economy if it gets into Red, or my economy if it gets into me. And I am still not walled because I was focused on the archers. In fact, this entire wood line, I just chopped through. So I've chopped through a wood line. Twice. So, 28 Hussar that I've let through, and that's going to hit red. Okay, here's red's defense. We've got the wood line that's being attacked, but there is a fair amount of navy coming in from yellow as well to support. I'm also moving forward to try and wall up that gap now that I've seen it. With a university that still doesn't wall in, because that is apparently still not walled off, even though I thought it was. Red's cleaning up the gray. So the Hussar are forced to run back from the castle fire into the Viking ships, which it did not know was there. And green's here with the Chukanu coming forward as well. So those Hussar did next to nothing, so it took out one wood line and that was it. And they could have taken out a lot more. Okay, so he's got 2 Hussar looping back around inside the base that have not hit any villagers yet, so they haven't set off a raid warning. And the longboats eat those up. Okay, so now the longboats have a choke here where they can hit all the ranged units. I've got a couple knights back that were watching this hole while I closed it, but I still didn't see most of that. Okay, on the front, I had some Hussars wipe out all the archers that were here, and they're starting to break through the gold. Which Grey now needs because Grey has chopped through almost all of its gold. Okay, Cyan coming forward with a couple crossbowmen to take out the trebs. Loops back into the castle fire for the Hussar. The Hussar have nothing against the castle fire. We kind of need something more. Okay, Mocha's coming up. Mocha forward with Conquistadors. That should be good for the trebuchets if they can get close enough. And take out those trebuchets and save Cyan in turn. And she does. Nice. So, Cyan saves Pink in the early game, Pink comes back and saves Cyan's castle in mid game. Cyan coming forward with a couple ships to help out. Yellow also. Okay, another wave of Magyar Hussar through the wall that has had a hole I didn't see for the 3rd time in a row. I've tried to close this hole 2 times now. But thankfully green's there with the Chukanu. It's at the choke point, stopping the Magyar from doing too much damage in the economy. They do get a couple picks off on villagers again, so I'm back down to 50s again. But I've got the TCs that I can build that up, so that's no big deal. That could have been a lot worse. And I make it to Imperial through all that, so now that I'm an Imperial, I can start mass producing units again. Since Imperial took a lot of resources out of me, you can see my resources up here. I am right on the edge, even though I've got 66 on wood. I still don't have enough to keep producing. I was really hurting for wood for most of it. Oh, sorry. So I've got... I was looking at the wrong guy. So I've got 3 on wood. I've got a couple thousand banked. Okay, so I've sent Scout around trying to mop up the villagers. It's gonna get wiped out by the Hussar, but they've taken out enough villagers that I feel like that's a fair trade since I'm only losing food. And so I've got plenty of. Okay, so we've got a couple more waves of scouts coming forward. The Chukanu are still holding a choke point, and I think with the dock there, that finally closes off that hole. I sure hope. This is the third time I've tried. Okay, we've walled the rest of this with wood. And that frees us to send us a couple scouts out. They don't have any skirmishers in that set of units that went to the Chukunu. So the Chukunu should be able to hold there, so I've got a couple light cav here in case the skirmishers do come. I can loop a couple of those back and take out any skirmishers that come to the Chukunu. And if not, then I'll send them forward. Okay, so I saw the skirmisher there, so I'm sending them to get the skirmisher because it's the only thing that they have to deal with the Chukunu. And the rest of these scouts are going to try to do as much damage as possible to the villagers because they're still playing open. On the other side, cannon galleons taking out the castle on the left. Nice plays from Yellow. Yellow's been everywhere alongside the shore, just dealing damage with the ships. Okay, more castles going down from Green and Yellow. On the front, villagers going down to all the light cav everywhere. Where's the Chukunu? Chukunu still holding the point, stopping any of the Hussar that get through. How did that Hussar get through? Ah, there's still holes in this. Oh. Alright, huge wave of Hussar again. This time trying to stop me from taking this castle, so I move this forward. And that's going to prevent them from hitting red or green at all. So, okay, Dark Mocha's an imp, so everyone is Imperial except for Orange, which has been stuck in feudal the entire game. Orange down to 26 villagers and 2 military. He's pretty much dead. But has been trying to reboom and then been hitting by the light calv again and again and again. So, Chukunu coming forward to save the villagers that are building the castle, and that castle will go up. What is this, 4th or 5th time Green saved me? Thank you. Alright, Grey coming forward with a bunch of spearmen to take out the Genie's crossbowmen they saw earlier, I guess, but that's not a good play against the castles. Alright, so Grey is still trying to open up the walls. They really need these walls open, so all of Orange's military actually that's left is here trying to open up the walls so they can get gold. And they really need that gold because they have 2 piles left before they're out. The Arbalists are there, Scorpions are coming forward in order to deal with the Spearmen. We've got Skirmishers coming forward to deal with any archers or ranged units that are on the field, just combined with the Chukunu to take out whatever comes near. And a castle coming up behind the stone. So as this castle goes up, we're going to break all the walls, and hopefully castle that gold and take it for ourselves. Meantime, Shoreline's still getting hit by everybody else. Okay, mopping up all the skirmishers in the front. And with that, I think that's pretty much it for dogs. So they've effectively won water. And now that we've secured the enemy base, we can delete all the walls around the resources and start taking all of those resources for ourselves. So that's a major food boom, stone boom, and gold boom. We wouldn't normally have except in the early game. They still have light cavalry in the bottom, trying to get to the trade, but can't quite get there. So Grey's making one final push with a bunch of knights and Nygars trying to clear up this because they need that gold. And it does get the Chukunu. Okay, with those knights or paladins. Okay, paladins have enough armor that they can make it to the Chukunu and survive a couple hits. And with the castle fire there, I think 3 shots from the castle will take out a paladin at this point. So I'm thinking we just slowly push with more castles. On water. Okay, pink and yellow and green and cyan have all won water. Even red's coming in to help out. I'm the only one that hasn't docked. Okay, I think green still has 2 canoes somewhere. Oh, they're all just bunched up together. Cool. I think that castle's gonna go up. If that castle goes up, then we can stick units here and still be able to hit the trade while being defended by the castle fire. Okay, so castle goes up, 2 canoe, jump in, jump to the other side, jump in, jump to the other side, in order to take out the knights, I think. Yep, jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. Knights can't hit you. Okay, there's the elite Kipchak from red stack. Saving me at a point when I have no resources to produce. So at this point here, I think, yeah, I asked if anybody had extra wood, thinking I need like 200 or 300 in order to start building more lumber camps with all of these villagers that have just finished mining through everything. So I tasked them on wood, hoping that somebody will give it to me, and if not, they'll have to run back to the TC for that. But somebody gave me 2,000 wood, and that's enough that I can start building town centers everywhere. Instead of lumber camps. So I'm going to throw a TC here as well and start mining all that gold. We'll just produce as many villagers as we can out of that and try to get rid of that so they can't take it. And that means their only gold is very soon going to be from this trade line. So if we hit that, they'll be almost completely out of resources except for wood, which they are quickly running out of here. And here on the left. Okay, almost everything they have that is in range of the water line is now dead. So we got one more set of the base over here with a couple siege workshops that could be hit. And actually finishing off Orange's TC too. So Chikanu coming in on the other side, we're walling in so they can't get to the gold. With houses. Okay, trebuchets, Genie's crossbowmen, and the free elite chip pack from Red's resource coming in. Should be more than enough to start pushing the west side. From castle. There's the navy too. Oh, thought they were gonna move around to help, but I guess not. So Cyan's got this. Okay, meanwhile on the other side, so Green's here with the Chupanu, I'm here with all of the elite Kipchak, and I'm starting to produce some more Arbalest in the back, and send the scout raids over to try and hit the trade line. Periodically whenever I've got the food for it, remember. Okay, Red's castle's denied, unfortunately. So, if we're gonna push this, I probably need to build another castle where Red was going to try to. We need a couple more archers than what we got, so I'm producing a bunch of archers for the 2 castles. Right now they're all garrisons until I can mass up enough in order to help out. But Green's coming with extra Chukanu, and that's going to be enough, so. Also research murder holes so that I can shoot the ones that are attacking me directly in melee. I've got to jump out before this comes down, but I don't want to jump out until the Chukanu are within range, so I should jump out now. Would be ideal. Guess I'm still massive. How's Cyan doing? Okay, so Yellow's here with Cyan now, making a push, finishing off the siege workshops. Without those siege workshops, there's nothing that Gray can produce that can take out Genie's crossbowmen in mass like this. There's way too many of them there. Let's see how Jag's doing so far. Jag's got 60 Genie's crossbowmen and 29 Conjureros. Yeah, there's no way they can pick it up. They would need like 6 mangonels. And they don't have any gold to take for it, so... Okay, Chickney going forward. Okay, I don't have too much to support myself. We do have some Arbalests looping back around from the other side though. So hopefully we'll be able to make a push into the trade line with the Chuknu. Science coming on the other side, cleaning up all the food economy that they need for the Magyar Hussars, for the only thing that can really take out the Trebs. Okay, so there's Grey with the mangonels that they need in order to take out the Genie's crossbowmen, but they can't get close enough for the Conjureros there. I don't think. Is this gonna get a shot? It does get a shot. That's one. There's so much pierce armor. It's 2 or 3 shots in order to take him down. Yeah, just not enough. Okay, and the Viking ships take out the other one. So nothing's gonna loop around and take out the Trebs from behind. Okay, Pink's also here. So there's the Conquistadors and all of the elite kit checks from Red. So already I've seen that from 3 players, so that bought us at least 30 from everybody else, and then assuming 10 from Red too, so that's 40. Okay, so told Green I've got Trebs coming from the market, so she can just hang back and protect the Treb, we can take out the trade. I wanted 2 of those before pushing forward. The scouts come in to run the wood line again. The ships are there to take them out if they try to retreat that way, so they've got to go to the TC, which is coming down because of the Trebs. Which means there's nothing left to retreat. Science coming in on the other side, idling the entire food eco. So their whole economy is this 1 mil, this TC, and 80 of these trading carts. Which are each taking... how much gold? 16 gold per trading card at 80 trading carts, but the scouts are into the trading cart line now. And the archers are coming forward. As soon as those get in range of the trade, this is probably over. Okay, so if we don't trap the marketplace right away, then all of the carts will still be on path into the archers. So at this point it's better not to take it out. Okay, castle coming out from Grey, Bandit Castle. That won't be enough to save him up. Okay, trade's down, and the castle ends up taking out the archers end up taking out the marketplace, and without the marketplace, there's no resource collection outside of a couple farms which are being hit by the Caballeros. So, orange taps out, and Grey taps out right afterwards. Alright. So, taking a look, once again, Jag manages to have the most villagers at 122, so we were playing 300 pop, and killed the death ratio at almost 3 to 1 for Jag. That's really nice. Dark Mocha at 35 pop with 25 villagers. Managed to get a lot of value out of the Conquistadors taking out the Trebs to protect Cyan, and the ships that went around with the Cannon Galileans taking out the buildings. But I would really like to see for next time to just continue to make villagers. The more villagers that you have, the more military you can build. 300 pop game like this, think ideally we would have 200 pop, and none of us were really close. CK Schroeder. Okay, did an really amazing job protecting everybody else. That Kip Ted tech really came in clutch for everyone on both sides of the front, actually. So that gave Pink everything she needed to protect the Conquistadors when they came in to take out the Trebs. It gave Cyan an extra boost of units, just as meat shields for the Genie's crossbowmen when they came in. It gave me an extra boost of units when I ran out on the front at one point, and stopped another fourth wave of Hussars from coming through, because they can mass with the Chukanu and just give them something else to hit. Green saving me first with Sarah's scouts, protecting Catherine in the beginning with all the walls, saving me I think 3 or 4 times with the Chukanu. That constant Chukanu production held that whole gap when I couldn't figure out how to wall it for almost the entire game, and then held the middle long enough for us to take it with all castles. So. And then Red coming in with kind of a mixed army in that choke, same choke, the first time that I didn't realize it was walled. And basically sacrificing his entire military push in order to save my farming eco, so thanks for that. Everyone else with the ships, taking out all of the fishing ships that Orange was trying to swap to when I was hitting the food eco, stopped them from rebooming. Also hitting all the fire ships that allowed Cyan to build up the woodline. Cyan building up the walls and the castles in order to save Pink earlier on. Pink returning the favor, taking out the Trebs. It was really good teamwork all around for everyone except me, really, in those walls. So laser focused on doing damage to Orange. I didn't help out the team nearly as much as I should have. Alright. Taking a look at stats. I don't know why it wouldn't give MVP to Jag, but the eco count's really high, and I think he was the only one that traded, but yeah, that's good. So thanks for the run.